night with the music again. Because even my new iPad won't work with my old Launchpad app. Something tells me that come tomorrow, maybe this won't be the case, and it's demonic in its nature. Speaking of demonic, did I mention that I'm over on TikTok now? The devil's favorite social media video app? And one of my videos was like more popular than the rest, right? All the people were writing comments to me like these newfangled compliments where they're like half insult and half compliment. I don't understand what's got into these kids, you know? Like, I hate the table, but I love, your voice. Like, why do you have to insult everybody when you compliment them? What has happened in our society that people are so down so low that they gotta take somebody with them? They can't even just be nice. Nobody can. The women grow boldier by the day, and I say that as somebody who's allowed to say whatever they want and can't be canceled. How do you know I'm not a dyke? Say you never met me before. How do you know I'm not a bull dyke? You don't. That's the thing. It's like, don't assume about other people because you just don't know, do you really? I don't think that you do. You don't know my history. You don't know, was I born with what? A pepperoni salad sandwich downstairs, or was I born with an elephant's trunk? You just don't know, and can't assume these days. Maybe I was born an AI robot. Maybe I'm an otherkintherian. Maybe I'm a hot dog. I guess in today's world, you can be absolutely whatever you want, and that's cool. I guess my parents low-key kind of told me I could do whatever I want with my life, as long as it didn't involve being a normal person of any sort. But look, here's where this whole new age, we create our own reality thing gets a little twist. A little kink in the hose comes from the fact that if we're creating our own reality, you know what I'm saying? Like, if all of our thoughts and beliefs and stuff create our reality, which I kind of believe it does in a non-666 way, well, what do we do then when we have these false core beliefs about ourselves, which we all do, and they're all just some result from something that happened in childhood, neglect or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I don't really know people who are like well adjusted, who had like non-neglectful parents. So that ends up giving a child one of a series of issues. Oh my god, what's happening? Am I in a fucking... what the hell? There's this weird part of Burbank right here on the bridge where it turns into a 1984 dystopian diarrhea nightmare just for 1 second, and then it goes back to normal. All this... ugh, what is that smell? All this is being made worse by the fact that I can't see on my windshield due to the jet fuel that's... You know what I finally realized though? Lawrence helped me to realize this thing. It's like, my plants seldom thrive. And my windshield's always got this oily rainbow on it. And the paint's chipping off my car just from being at my house for the past decade. That means that the jet fuel from all those airplanes that fly overhead from the Burbank airport, that's all over me. All over the plants, all over the soil. That can't be good, right? I feel like I can never get ahead because everything's always struggling, and like the fruits never get that big, you know? I thought maybe it was my fault for not fertilizing or something. You know, you always assume you're doing something wrong. But maybe, just maybe, and isn't this a microcosm of everything in the world? Maybe, just maybe, you're born into this sort of inherited land that doesn't allow for anything to thrive. Maybe, just maybe, we're all born into a prison planet, born and sold off into slavery in a way by our parents unknowingly as they sign us up for social security cards and get us fucking vaccinated and all of that madness. Maybe, just maybe, it's a system that's not set up for people to be able to thrive in. I don't know anybody who's a part of the system, who lives this worldly life and is of the world, who is thriving. I know plenty of non-player characters who are fucking miserable and want to kill themselves because they just keep trying to fit their square peg in that round hole and going to work at some fucking job just to make money and then maybe to ease some of the dull, aching stench of death that's coming from the inside of their soul. They have a kid. Is that something to do? And that's, you know, it's great. This burst of like love comes into your life because babies are these pure expressions of love, and that's why people look at them and they cry. You know, it's like godly, it's some God shit. So then the baby allows them for a minute to tap into that connection with God. Who are they? They look like they're up to no good. I envy the Amish too, and I wish that I was Amish. I wish you could, you know, become that. But then I'm like, no, looks like something weird's happening over there too, you know? I just want to start my own cult, live off the grid, get out of this beast system that is not set up for anybody to thrive in. If it was set up for people to thrive in, then we would be surrounded by thriving people. And I don't know anyone who's thriving really. Now, is that just because I'm not I feel like I thrive as best I can in my conditions that are sort of stacked against me. But for quite a while, especially, I really felt I got my thrive on. And I still feel like I'm doing pretty good if we're grading on a curve. But I wonder, where am I capped off as far as my consciousness goes, just by virtue of being... Oh, fuck. What's going on there? Sorry. Where am I capped off just by virtue of being like out here in part of the energy grid, you know? There's like electromagnetic frequencies and Wi-Fi's and microwaves and all this stuff that unknowingly affects all of us. Whether or not you want to believe it, you think 5G, talking about 5G, it sounds crazy. Because you're too stupid to go do the research and you're just like, we need this for our cell phone. It's like, oh, do we need this for our cell phone? Because I'm pretty sure that before the 5G, all of our cell phones worked. And I would venture to say they worked better before these What is the point of these 5G towers if all my shit is working worse than it was ever before? Like, where does 5G come into play that it's helping me download that 7-hour porno in 3 seconds flat? Who gives a shit? Stop watching entertainment. Seriously, it's almost too late for you if you're still like watching 7 movies a week and like watching the newest Netflix series. Like, do you realize what movies and TV are laid traps for you to fall into that trap of being entertained instead of creating? When I tell people I don't listen to music or watch TV or watch movies, They go, well, what do you do with all that extra time? I'm like, what? I do stuff. I do stuff and I accomplish things and I create things and I garden a whole lot. Like, how do you live in a peaceful state watching this trash all the time? I mean, I'm not judging the virtue of anything on TV or movie. I'm just saying it's designed to distract and to distract people from their ultimate purpose here on earth in our short stint, our limited engagement life. Life is not supposed to be going to work, watching the Netflix, watching the movie, like listening to the album in the car, just never thinking about anything else except yourself and what do I want to watch and what am I going to do? Like, yuck, that's so lame. Like, what? God. Not to mention, contain predictive programming. So zombie apocalypses, I guess that's not really proof because it hasn't happened yet, but you know, like I do believe 9/11 happened in a whole bunch of movies before it ever happened in real life. Just about every one of our terrorist attacks, you know, bombings, where is that city where everybody got bombed in the street? Boston bombing and all this other shit. It's like all that stuff comes out on like Family Guy or The Simpsons a couple of years. Donald Trump's presidency. What do you mean you try not to worry about things you can't change? I mean, it's a matter of God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Here's the thing. We all have more of an effect on the 3D physical world than we really realize. Right? I mean, and if you don't realize something, then how can you know? Sounds retarded, but kind of is. I think it's really common that people would underestimate themselves and undervalue themselves, and therefore not recognize that everything that we do has a ripple effect of rippling out into the rest of the world. Sorry. And affecting everyone and everything. Even though it don't seem like that. It seems like we're just cutting somebody off, or we're just watching an innocent television show, or whatever, you know? How am I hurting anyone? It's like, well, nobody said you're hurting anyone, but it's like, are you helping anyone? Are we put here on this planet to have our minds lulled into a theta brainwave state of being highly suggestible, and then have like these weird like subconscious messages programmed in there and help bad things happen? I didn't really get rid of the crystals just because my yard sale was ill attended, to say the least. I didn't really do it like I meant to, or like I used to, because I forgot to advertise earlier. But you know what? I don't care. I'm abundant. I just assume give it all away. Can you take it all away? When you shove it in Gustine. Don't shove it in Gustine. She's just a cat. Anyway, I have a hard time believing that we're just here to make a mess and to watch a television show and then die and go to work at our job that we don't hate. It's money, and we all need money to survive. And we think if we don't do something that sucks, we don't get money. But I'm fairly certain that that's not how it works at all. Garbage. Anyway, I don't know if everyone else has been feeling the Mercury retrograde vibes that are just like seemingly permanent now, which is weird, but whatever. It's end times, I guess. It makes sense. Yeah, world's crazy, and I think it's always a trick. It's always a goon to try to get you to subscribe to this division tactic that's never not happening. Sorry. You know, as long as you're getting upset, and I fall for this every day myself, it's so easy to. Sorry. Fuck. As long as you're getting pissed about anti-vaxxers or the pro-vaxxers or whatever side you land on, you're still picking a side. And you're blowing it, you know? No, don't go outside here, Goose. Not only are you picking a side, you're getting upset about the other side and how fucking stupid they are. Because they are fucking stupid. That's the problem, right? Like, if you are a pro-vax person, then you legitimately believe that the anti-vaxxers are killing people by not getting the vaccine. And if you're anti-vaxxer, you legitimately believe, whoa, it's like Gustine and Tramelcy. It's like, she legitimately believes that because Tramelcy is vaccinated, he's created the Delta strain that he's now gaslighting her about and blaming on her. And she's like, don't you see that this new strain started right after the vaccines did? And he's like, don't tell me that. And she's like, so I don't know. But I think the trick, the stumbling block that we all get to stumbling over is in getting upset about it, because you can't get upset about it because that's the whole plot, that's the whole ploy, that's the whole trick. You know, the demons get fed when you are upset, and the angels get fed when you're joyful or happy or grateful or anything that's an upper register of energy. So you get to decide where to send it, which wolf to feed, which side, light or dark, are you trying to help win the always being waged war of good versus evil that's always taking place here? I don't know. Sometimes I help the underground on accident because I forget all this. Because really, this is a great, this is a well thought out plan by the number one guy at doing this, who is the devil. So much smarter than you. He's so much smarter than you. He knew that he could convince you to think he was not even a real guy. Okay, maybe he's not. Maybe everything I think I know is a lie. I hope so. I really do. But in any case, we're doing normal person things right now, and I want to kill myself. I'm gonna go. I don't think the comments are working on this anyway, unless you guys just really have nothing to say. The vaccines are kicking on. The zombosis is starting to take over, perhaps. I don't know how it works. I don't know what's going to happen in October, but I just want you guys to know that if and when any of you turn into zombies, I will shoot on sight, and I have the ways and means to do that. Christine, why are you always gnawing on your foot like that? Nervous energy. The devil is in the details, but God's also in the details too. So how do you do that? You can take the devil out of the details, but you can never take God out, because God made it all. Can't understand him. Can't understand why he would go to the effort of making a devil even, but I guess he was bored. Makes sense. Look, I got this keyboard stand. Pretty cool, I guess. So yeah, I'm exhausted. I did yard sale today. And now today is done. So grand. But I just wanted to say that because, this is not about vaccines and COVID and New World Orders and all that. This is about something else, but it don't really matter, I guess. It do and it don't. It does and it doesn't. What is wrong with the chat? It can't be that only one person's talking and that's all it's saying. Usually the chat goes blah, 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 the whole time. And it's not doing that. Did you guys get struck with the Delta variant? Notice that the Delta variant and the Lambda variant are named after frequencies, brainwave frequencies. And don't hit me with that. Oh, it's just so that people won't say it's an Indian because that's racist. Why not call it chicken variant or the lamb variant? The apple variant. Like, why would... There's no coincidence in life, you know what I'm saying? Ew. Why is it double noting? I gotta go do my thing. It is a private show, I guess, technically. Probably the only kind I get to play. Since they're demanding everyone be vaccinated, right? Don't do that to me. I love my new drum set. I don't know where the Habs people are. Apparently it's just you, me, and a bunch of bots tonight. Whoa, I wish this would stop being so weird. I know. Isn't that weird? It's just us. And that's not ever a thing. This is not ever something that happens. Thank you. 50 cents. Life goals reached. I got 50 cents. I'm going off this week. very much. I will do that. Oh, well, at least that's what you think. You probably do have something to say, and you're just doing what the title of this episode is about, which is having some weird, crappy belief about yourself. I don't believe it. Because I think we're all put here to speak our own unique truth out into the world and affect the world accordingly. You know what I'm saying? Because you can say something in a certain way that I can't. It'll make it someone else, go to some place that I can't make them go. This is the haunted drum kit. It's scary. 909. 808. Not my favorite one. That one never works. You know what's weird is that today all these people are so, what the Bible calls, frowardly tongues. They always got something bad to say, something critical all the time. Like, as if criticism is the reality. Like, I'm just a realist. Like, no, you're not. You're just kind of an asshole because you always have a negative look on things, and that really does affect other people. Even when I know somebody's being like that to me, even when I consciously know, it still gets in there and it affects me. Because more people are like player haters today. Thank you. I mean, is it courage or is it sheer idiocy? I don't really know. But it's like there's a lot of forces out there. Let's just say they're all from one source, which is the devil, because anytime we're in fear and we feel not good enough, we don't, think we have anything worthwhile to give to the world, say, that's not the truth. That's fear. And I get why nobody wants to even put themselves out there, because you run the risk of being canceled for something you said in 1993 now. Duh, that's dumb. And then when you do put some original work out there, everybody's fucking mean to you for no reason. Like, for no reason. Everybody, you get the bots and the trolls and the assholes who just have to be mean to you to try to dissuade you from living your divine purpose on earth, which I believe all of ours is to create. And it's just like, why does anyone want to do this? And then, if you're a musician, congrats, you also don't get any money anymore like you used to. It was like slim pickings before, and now it's just like, wow, this is the career of a homeless person. It does take more self-control to not be an asshole. And the devil knows that the people who have the self-control aren't really as easy to manipulate. When half of the fucking planet are these non-playable character vessels, these narcissists or whatever you want to call them. These they're the adversary to the people who are the people chosen to create. So you're either the adversary to creation and you're putting other people down and talking nothing but shit. There's no one you uplift, no one you think is great, Not even your own self usually, because if you're that judgmental, that always flips in on itself, and then you like are too embarrassed to do anything, or maybe you think you're great half the time, but the other half of the time you're like, I'm shit. And I guess both of those times you're right, regardless, whatever we believe becomes the truth, one way or another, I guess. I don't know. This world is so fucked. But I'm trying my best to believe that it's not. Even though it shows me a lot of evidence to support the opposite. You know what I'm saying? Oh, be right back. Hello, guest. Yes. No. Where's my tuner? Getting mad now. It took a long time, I guess, not that long, to degrade the entire world into this, like, the men are cucks now, they're not allowed to be men. I guess a lot of this has happened in the past couple years, to be honest. So, I don't know. What do I know? I'm just a woman and I'm just a musician. So, I'm not claiming to know anything much. But I do know this. When you want to degrade and destroy and dissolve a society at a core level, the first thing that you do is you destroy the nuclear family. Sorry for the garbled text. I just meant it takes courage to speak like you do while being a musician in LA. Oh, you mean surrounded by cucks and whatnot? I'm so surprised that, like, I seem to be a minority. I always, I guess, have been Minority Report, but like, all these people who are like punk rock people and anti-establishment, anti-government, and now they're like pro-government, pro-corporation, pro-big pharmaceutical industry that, I mean, I get it, historically, the government is trustworthy, right? Historically, big pharma is trustworthy, right? They've never lied, cheated, or stolen. They've never done anything that was absolutely adversarial to our own health and well-being and was strictly for money-making purposes, right? Nor has the government. Nor has the government ever conducted secret experiments on unwitting Americans. They wouldn't do that, right? So they must be worth trusting as we all move forward, right? I mean, that sounds insane, but for the sake of the narrative and not having my existence erased off of the face of the earth, I'm going to say I believe that too. Because maybe it's true. Seems retarded, but so does everything else. I don't know. I don't want this to be my life. I don't want to sit here on some gay live stream, and I mean that in the 90 cents. Don't try to cancel me. When I was a kid, you could say whatever you want. And the more offensive you were, the funnier it was. Unless it was like just mean. Then it was just mean. Like when I was a little kid, when I was 9, my mom's best friend was a gay man that died of AIDS, and they wrote a play together, and it was on the cover of the calendar section of the OC Register. And so all of a sudden overnight, everybody knew that my mom's friend was dying of AIDS. AIDS was brand new, fresh on the scene, trailblazing. Hardy family was trailblazing for AIDS, apparently. Back in the day, right after it became AIDS from GRID or whatever. And so at school, kids would say, Annie Hardy's mom's a dyke and her dad's gay and the whole family has AIDS. And it's like, that sounds retarded, but maybe it's true. But alas, here I still sit. AIDS-less and shit. Whatever. AIDS, herpes AIDS, COVID. The unholy trinity of possibly man-made viruses by the government. I don't know. Why does a cat do that where they look super sketched out and they stare at one high up point? Christine, are you looking at a demon? I know that you are. Look at me, man. Christine! Chill, relax, okay? She's always cleaning herself raw. Probably making up for lost cleaning. You know what I'm saying? I don't. Okay, I have to go. Adjust my vaginal detox pearl. Thanks for watching. I implore and invite you to decide and set intention today to put away judgment and view everything objectively as God does, without, because you don't know what's right and what's wrong ultimately. None of us do. We don't know what's a good thing, what's a bad thing. Only God knows that. Only God can ultimately judge. What if everything, each one of us knows all ass backwards? For many of us, or at least half of us, or I would say even more than that, it definitely is. So when you release the need to judge and condemn and cancel and all that, and cry out, have rocks removed from your college campus because the rock is racist, I highly suggest for all these people, the cancel crew artists, I think you should realize that demon that you're looking for on the outside of you is coming from within, being projected out from this darkness that you deny in yourself. And so when you make peace with the darkness that's in all of us, Christine, stop it. You're creeping me out with that weird, she keeps going, she looks all scared. She has the most expressive cat face I've ever seen. Maybe just because I can't see Tremelcy's face because he's so black. So when you make peace that, you're not perfect, that's what I keep seeing on the libtard side of things. It's like people who aren't really sure, they think they're the good one. They're pretty sure that they're virtue signaling and all the things that the news has told them to believe in and getting the vaccine and yada da da is the good thing to do. It's what good people do. Never mind that the good people's, got this ever-shifting goalpost of what is good today. I don't think that's how it works, personally. I don't think we figure out what's good and bad according to, society, because we live in a psychotic society now. So I think it's better to be, this is just what I believe, to be anchored in the truth, in a truth that's never changed, that's stayed the same, where good is good and evil is evil, because it says in the Bible that during the last days they'll begin calling evil good and good evil, and taking sweet for bitter, and vice versa. So it's like, whatever, I would be tripping too and triggered every time somebody brought up a fact that went against my truth. I would be moved to a place of rage and whatever other negative emotional states the people get moved to that I talk to. Some of my close friends are just complete libtard idiots, my mom and dad. Sorry guys, I know you probably watch this, but you're, mind-controlled slaves, and that's okay. And I used to be too. I voted for Obama. Don't hold it against me. I'm sure you wouldn't. But I also voted and thought voting was real. So, some are waking up faster, some slower, to the fact that this is not like this 3D universe and dimension is not the end of it, you know? There's more dimensions and there's more than meets the eye. And if there wasn't, then how do I make the dowsing rod spin around using only the power of my mind and the conducting piezoelectric energy from copper rods? I don't know how. But yeah, I don't know. It's a perfect crime because when somebody can't even hear outside stuff that goes against their narrative without getting triggered, because the narrative is tied into the ego, and the ego is our false idea of who we are. And our ego protects us from itself getting destroyed. So, how does it do that? It manifests as offense, as upset. It rejects that information to the best of its ability. And it leaves us living in this series of false core beliefs about all kinds of shit, but mostly about ourselves and the world. We kind of come in here knowing what's up. We can see energy. We're sensitive to it. We feel things. And then we grow up year after year with adults telling us, that's not real. You don't see that. Like, you don't hear that. You don't feel that. And we actually shut down those facilities in ourselves until we're just walking around like every other NPC out there, dull, numb, and miserable. And then sometimes we have the favor done for us of some, like what some people might call a narcissist or whatever, demon possessed person. Something out of the ordinary happens and it pushes us out of that state and into a perceptive state, or it reformats our entire hard drive and starts us over from baby sensitivity because we're rendered traumatized. CPTSD, regular PTSD, like we're traumatized out of our resting state. And in so doing, we are given a chance to awaken to a bigger truth than what we're working with now. And that's cool, I think. But then all these froward tongue-ass motherfuckers, all these atheists and agnostics, and it's like, oh, you know, your whole like thing is like predicated on God. Like without God, neither of those religions of atheism, agnosticism, and scientism, you know, science is realism, those don't exist. I mean, I guess I'm just chill. Most people don't even entertain the things you're talking about, let alone think about them deeply. It would disrupt their lives. And that's the point. If you don't willingly disrupt your life and your belief set, and you don't go in there and say, it's been like 7 years, maybe it's time that I investigate everything I believe in, ask myself, why do I believe in this? Like, who told me to believe in this? Do I have proof in the physical world that this is a thing and is true? Or am I getting all of my information from TV shows, from family and friends, from people who are also mind slaves? Or am I thinking for myself? Am I using my experience, my actual life experience, to inform my truth? Or am I just getting it all spoon-fed to me by my gross Nazi parents and friends and family? And I say Nazi, you don't have to be white to be a Nazi. You just have to be buying into the fucking false reality that most people are. I gotta have a job, I gotta make money, I gotta go to work, do something that sucks, I gotta suffer in order to just skirt by. It's like, fuck that shit. You can create some shit out of nothing, like overnight. I'm not suggesting you like do witchcraft or nothing, but like witches doing witchcraft definitely know that that's true. I don't know. Sometimes my Christian self and my former New Age self butt heads, and I'm like, existential pink sock. They're happy in circumstances they shouldn't be happy. They're not happy at all. They're addicted to the chemicals that are released in their brain by being in this chronic like state of longing, sadness, like future tripping, future living. This is when I get to this, I'm going to be happy. When I finally get to do this, I'm going to finally be happy. And that's so bullshit. Like, you could be happy right now. You could decide right now, that no matter what, you're going to be happy. No matter what outside influences trying to bring you down, you can decide to, despite all that, be free inside by being your fullest expression of the self, unapologetically, not caring what these fucking dick pigs and vomit slurs say about you or think about you, because they can't even perceive you. Unless somebody is just like you, they can't even perceive you, because you can only view the world through the filter of self, right? So if you're surrounded by a bunch of subpart idiot people who don't do nothing, they just sit around and talk about the people who do something, all they can see is of them. You know, all they see is that you're kind of, you're not that great. Of course you're not that great to them because they're not that great. But if you go around people who are great, who are geniuses, who are like people that do stuff and create stuff, even if they're not that good at it, but they're really creative, like those people will better be able to see you if, if that's you too. If you hang out with a bunch of homeless people, they're going to treat you as a homeless person. If you hang out with a bunch of hookers, you might become a hooker at some point. It's like waking up a sleepwalker. They usually attack you. Yeah. Can't expand on that. That's the truth. And it's just like, you can focus on other people and trying to wake people up and change people's minds, but you're not going to be able to. Trust me. Like, those people who are walking dead robot zombies out in this beast system world, they're not going to change. And they're definitely not going to change because you post some Instagram story that makes them go, oh my God, from BLM to fucking QAnon, here I am. Both those sides are lying. QAnon's insane, I would like to unsubscribe from the mailing list of this world, but I don't know how. It's like if you want to stop getting junk mail from the post office, you have to go through this like process, and they need your social security number and all this stuff just to stop getting trash sent to your house. Doesn't it seem weird? Doesn't that seem retarded? And I can say that because I'm retarded. So leave me alone, Cancel Club. It's harder to live free of this like world butthole that's constantly diarrheaing its garbage crap down onto your face. You have to enter your social security number, and I think I even had to pay $1.99 just to stop receiving trash that's, that trees are dying to make these home renovation magazines that they keep sending me. They're so thick and the pages are so glossy, and I've never found not one issue helpful whatsoever. But they keep sending it because that's how it works. Nothing around me is designed to improve my life. make my life more spiritual, make my diet more easily fruit and vegetable, raw food based, whole food based, organic, non GMO, it's easier to eat McDonald's and GMO. It's cheaper. It's less work to have, processed foods, processed off white foods, and no fruits and vegetables. It's easier to be dead than it is to be alive. You have to fight to be alive. Unfortunately, you have to fight if you want to make dinner for yourself, and you have to put so much effort into it. Whereas, John P. Pig person just goes to the drive-thru and gets those delicious fries. He gets a double cheeseburger, and it tastes good, and it's addictive, and it releases these brain chemicals, and he's like, full of nanobot technology, but that's fine. His life seems a lot easier. But John P. Pig person is not feeling well. Neither are we. But it's for two totally different reasons. So notice that America's biggest problem, I think, last time I checked, is heart disease. Heart disease is like a big one. And cancer, obviously, and diabetes. And heart disease is from the heart. Diabetes is losing that sweetness for life. I'm talking spiritual roots of disease, of course. And then cancer is a deep wound or a long held onto secret that manifests into the body, breaking out in tumors and whatnot. And then there's a newest addition to the gang, autoimmune disorders, leaky gut, and fucking all those lettery things that have to do with your gut being fucked up. And why would these motherfuckers want to fuck up your gut? Easy question, easy answer. Your gut is the beginning and end of health. Like your mouth and your gut alone can predict whether or not you're going to be a healthy person, whether you're going to be a sick person. If you're walking around, you got cavities all in your teeth from all this processed sugar that's nowhere else in the world that I've been, do they have sweets. Like our candy bars are sweeter, our ice cream is sweeter. Why do we have so much processed white sugar here? In England, you could eat like the food in England, okay, is not that great. No offense to my British friends. My favorite country, maybe, now that America's gone down the toilet. But the food, well, something's a little bit off about it. It's got it's got actual quality ingredients. In America, our shit's made out of like styrofoam and dog semen or something. I don't know what they're doing, but it's definitely not chill. And we got all these GMO, crazy, like genetically modified ropeworm inducing fruits and vegetables just for the people who aren't eating up all the processed food like little piggies. Hit them with that hard ropeworm. Because a ropeworm and all parasites, which all of us are full of, are running the show. They're in our guts, but they're sending signals to our brains to make us do the things which do not behoove us to do in the first place. They make us do the things that go against our own best interest, just like the way Toxoplasma gondii makes a rat run directly up to a cat. Like, hey, if you need proof of that, I can link you to an episode of King Tramelcy's Kingdom where a rat did that with Tramelcy and just like kept staying there. Let Tramel like bat him around, and eventually Tramel ate that rat from head to tail and crunched on the bones. I saw a kidney fall out. It's gross, but it's the truth, and it's parasitic is the same as demonic to me. You say parasite, I say clamato or demon. These are the physical expression of demonic energies, whether it's an ascaris worm, a rope worm, a tapeworm, a liver fluke. whatever it is, it's nasty and it's demonic in its nature, because that's what demons do. They go after you to try to make you take actions that go against your own well-being. Fuck that shit, But like the Bible says, resist the devil and he'll flee from you. But if he knows that you give in to temptation real easily, he's going to stay right there, sucking on your titties like you wanted them, calling them. But whatever. Some people hear demon, they think that's crazy. I know that you think that. Because the truth has been designed to sound crazy so that you'll immediately dismiss it and cast it away. The ego remains safe. The world remains depressing but safe-ish. I have been there. I get it. Didn't want to know about a chemtrail. But then, at some point, if you won't look at it with your own eyes on your own time, like life comes crashing and you are situationally brought to a place where you're like, oh fuck, true evil exists in this world, and actually true evil even runs this world. If only I had realized it before. But most of us don't realize anything save for realizing it the hard way. So, whatever. Drum and BS, this one. They think the world is overpopulated. I wouldn't be surprised if they start World War III and nuke the world while they hide in bunkers. Well, those are part of the plans. They do think the world's overpopulated, and they've always thought this, because these are eugenicists that we're dealing with. Just like maybe the most famous eugenics practitioners, and that's the Nazis. No mistake that after World War III, all the Nazi war criminals were brought to America under now declassified documents of Project Paperclip in the American government. And they started to do tests on those unwitting American citizens, as I spoke of before. But these are the people we should be trusting, them and big pharmaceutical industry and the mainstream media. All three entities, historically honest, fair, and looking out for our best interests. Geniuses. I'm going to take this experimental, non-FDA approved vaccine based on my historical knowledge of how good not just the mainstream media has been at telling me the truth. I mean, they have reality shows on there, and this show called The News, which is people think for this 1 hour of programming, suddenly this box that only beams fiction is now telling us the truth. Now it's reporting on worldly matters, not things from the world stage. Why is it called the stage after all? It's almost as if it's a play. It's almost as if they're playing a game or a trick. Excuse me, COVID. But let's put the mainstream media aside, because they're just run by the giant corporations, like the big pharmaceutical industry that owns everything and that profits off not healing you, but keeping you sick and keeping you on a lifelong regimen of depression meds that end up making you more depressed over time and then ravage your body. All because nobody's taught us how to deal with what some people call depression or anxiety. These uncomfortable negative feelings that need to be felt and released instead of run from, hid from, and trapped inside of us. Now they're trapped in there. You take that pill, now they're trapped. You cut off the low end of that spectrum of emotion, you cut off the high end automatically. And now you live in the mid-range. And life just goes, just flows and continues. So those people seem trustworthy too. Was it Pfizer? No, it was Bayer who sent somehow a load of AIDS infected medication to what are those people called that bleed really easily? Hemophobes? That's not what they're called. But whatever. So those two, I could see why you trust them. And then the final tier is, of course, the government. Wait, did we do the government? Big Pharma and the mainstream media. Yeah. All really outstanding, upstanding entities which seem to favor looking out for the people versus getting one over on them, having complete control, making money. And yeah, I'm sure that the complete psychopaths, sociopaths that are at the top of the Gustine, Goose, you need to quit it. Ghosties, she's hissing right in Tramel's face. Gustine, eventually we all become that which we fight against, so you better keep it down. Whenever there's someone yelling, I'm pointing the finger, it's usually the person who's wrong, There's sometimes few examples where it's not, and that's where somebody's being narcissistically abused for such a long time and they snap. Because in public, the narcissist can play it cool. For the cops, they're dead inside. They can do whatever they want. They can turn off the crazy as soon as the cops or some other authority figure shows up, right? Be like, whatever are you talking about? I'm completely normal. And meanwhile, the real person is like, what? Because this narcissist is gaslighting them forever and ever and ever. And now, similarly, we're being gaslit by our government, sociopaths, and we're just like, people are starting to lose it out there. I don't know if you've noticed, the homeless crowd hit it first, because they have a very thin veil to begin with. And then it starts to overflow into the general population. Regular civilians just going completely psychotically insane. So that's fun, I guess. Yeah, I'm gonna go now. I'm glad we had this talk. Bunkers. World War III. World War III has already begun. There's going to be concentration camps, quarantine camps. I have a Jewish friend who became Christian after reading Isaiah 53. It's an Old Testament prophecy about the Messiah, and it fit Jesus' life perfectly. I don't know what you're saying right now, but I feel like I should look into it. I'm not a theologian or nothing, so I don't know exactly what that Bible verse is supposed to be about. I know that Isaiah's got a lot of sweet gems about the biblical end times, though. Hey, where's my Bible? Great. Christine stole it again. Okay. I don't understand that statement still as I sit here and ponder it just a bit more. Christine. Oh, I see one. I mean, but the statement, I guess what makes me confused. What makes me confused is like, okay, wait. So he thought about it and now he's a Christian. I guess I don't get that part because I didn't think about it and I decided that this was real. Like, my life experience was, it was forced on me. I didn't want this, and I didn't just decide after like thinking about anything. Like I experienced the reality of it in an undeniable way that you can't kind of go back from. I wish sometimes that I could, because life was easier before. But like I said about the canceling of the junk mail and everything, life is not supposed to be easier, I don't think. I mean, Travel, see, what do you want? He's down here doing his travel. He didn't think Jesus could be the Messiah. Then he said, he read that and he said it fit. Okay, well, Isaiah 53. Let's see what it says. But I thought Jews already believed that Jesus was the Messiah. They just didn't believe he was the Son of God. I don't know what crazy ass shit they believe. Ready? Tracy wants to read it too. Who has believed our message, and to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? He grew up before him like a tender shoot, and like a root out of dry ground. He had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him. What's happening? What's that noise, Christine? She's fine. Nothing in his appearance that we should desire him. Gustine, he was despised and rejected by men, a man of sorrows and familiar with suffering. Like one from whom men hide their faces, he was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he took up our infirmities and carried our sorrows. Yet we considered him stricken by God, but he was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was upon him, and by his wounds we are healed. We all, like sheep, have gone astray. Each of us has turned to his own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. He was oppressed and afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. He was led like a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before her shearers is silent, so he did not open his mouth. By oppression and judgment he was taken away, and who can speak of his descendants? For he was cut off from the land of the living. For the transgression of my people he was stricken. He was assigned a grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, though he had done no violence, nor was any deceit in his mouth. Yet it was the Lord's will to crush him and cause him to suffer. And though the Lord makes his life a guilt offering, he will see his offspring and prolong his days. Very confused about this, for sure. Okay. I mean, all this makes sense, though. Is that, like, weird? I say, if you want to know, if you're on the fence, you don't know, like, this Jesus shit sounds fucking gay, and I mean that in the 90s sense. And, like, yo, it is. And it is designed to look that way, to keep people who are prideful, egotistical, frowardly, tongue-ass motherfuckers away from this. Because those people can't do it, you know? You have to be able to humble yourself and be like, look, I know this is the lamest look on earth. Like, chomos, child molesters, might be better looking to society than Christians. But I do it anyway. Because I know that it's real. You know, that's what you have to do. Because it's not the hot look of the season. It's never really been. But it is real. I think. Anyway. After the suffering of his soul, he will see the light of life and be satisfied by his knowledge. My righteous servant will justify many, and he will bear their iniquities. Therefore, I'll give him a portion among the great, and he will divide the spoils with the strong, because he poured out his life unto death and was numbered with the transgressors. For he bore the sin of many and made intercession for the transgressors. I wish this shit made more sense. How did I come into believing? Because I saw it. Because I had Robert, a.k.a. Cadillac Ron, possessed in front of me and sold his soul to the devil, and I saw that it was very real. I experienced spiritual phenomenon that I didn't have answers for. That's the short version. Oh my God, my back hurts. Okay, I have to go. It's so late right now. But, you know, God shows us the devil to show us that Jesus is real. FYI. Because Jesus isn't scary. You know, kind of in a weird way, but like the devil is scary, and a haunting, a poltergeist, a demonic oppression, that requires action, and it requires like a savior, and only Jesus can cast out the demons. And then you're like, fuck, this is real? This sucks. But it's alright. Because it doesn't really actually suck, but it doesn't seem quite as fun as playing with tarot cards and crystals and being a new age hippie witch. But I bet the afterlife will be more fun. So that's what I'm banking on. Speaking of banking, I gotta get a hold of Bank of America. So I'm going to bid you adieu, and so will the gear. Remember, what we focus on expands and grows. So go out in that crazy ass nightmare world and spread love and not your butt cheeks. And I'll see you next